There is a reason why Shreesha asked for the extra time overnight to work on her plan and all. She had something in her mind. She's going to, before this mission, she's going to walk up to Trezendar Manor here and visit Jannos Valnich, who is one of the previous heroes, who is actually one of the heroes of Phandalin from a previous D&D campaign. But in that campaign, Jannos possessed a pair of winged boots. And she figures, if she can borrow those, she'll have flight. Coupled with her invisibility would make it real easy for her to cross the siege line. So let's see. We have no information on the relationship between Shreesha and Jannos. Jannos is a little bit arrogant, a little bit stuck on himself, a little bit hard to deal with sometimes. So let's do some rolls and find out what kind of relationship the two of them have, and that will guide us on the probability for when she gets to the question of, hey, can I borrow your winged boots? From the previous campaign website, you can see here Jannos Valnich, the selfish bard, and a quote from him: "Battles are all about strategy, and strategy pivots on priorities. Since my priorities were Jannos, and Jannos, with, quote, looking good a distant fourth, I took the opportunity to resume running away. Jannos." And there's the miniature that was used in the previous campaign. And since the previous player took his miniature with them, I have a stand-in, very similar miniature. So you can see him here in the background. We will just say that he colored his hair and shaved and changed his clothes. And so now we have the dark-haired Jannos. All right, so let's set this up. You start with even odds, right? That Jannos and Shreesha get along. The question should be, does Jannos like Shreesha? I think there is a likely or even highly likely chance that Jannos likes Shreesha because she's very nice. She's very soft-spoken and very helpful, always with a smile on her face. So let's roll with the 3 yes dice and the 1 no die. The question being, does Jannos like Shreesha? That was a 2 that rolled back there. You're kidding. No. Oh, boy. Well, those dice results make a lot of sense. I'm very much in character for Jannos. He doesn't like Holly Thornton either. Hates her. All right, so for some reason, we're going to have to figure out what happens next. Let's do a question. Will Jannos want to go on the mission with Shreesha? That's got to be highly likely. So 3 on the yes, 1 on the no. Question being, does he insist on going? Gosh, let's just roll again. Okay, so yes, he does insist that he wants to go with her. I can totally see Andrew, the player who controlled Jannos in the last campaign, suggesting that Jannos just go instead of her. I mean, easily, Jannos would just say, look, he's not going to trust her. Nobody can do the job like Jannos can. So I can easily see him saying, look, I'll just go. You stay here. This is, above your pay grade and all that. So we won't really need to roll about that. I think that was like 100% sure would happen. So the question then becomes for Shreesha, when she realizes that, gosh, she's made a mistake here probably by even mentioning this to Jannos. Does she also refuse now and say, look, forget it. I'll go without the boots. Thanks anyway. So I think that's highly likely that she will just abort this idea at this point. So will she do that? Will she abort? 3 yeses and 1 no. Let's see what happens. Yes, she will abort. So hopefully if you watched part 7, you saw the cutscene between the constable and Shreesha in his office at 11 bells in the morning on the 25th. And so we insert on the timeline the conversation at, I'm going to say, 5 bells in the evening between Shreesha and Jannos, which is what we just rolled up. So that updates the timeline, and then kind of out of order. Sometimes the dice or your ideas make you do that. So we had, in part 7, we had previously also rolled up whether she agreed to go on the mission, and she did. So now it's all in proper chronological order. All right, so we know that the mission is going to take place on the 26th, sometime after 10 bells in the morning. Let's just start rolling. Let's say, will she wait until after dark, but before midnight? No, she won't. So she's going to run this mission during the day. Interesting. I mean, I guess that would make sense. Considering what happened with Jannos, she's probably going to do this as soon as possible. All right, so the next question would be, she takes off. She has invisibility. She's going to cross the siege line. Does she do it successfully? I'm going to say that it would be easy or, highly likely when flying, but without the boots, I'm just going to say it's likely. So we'll have 2 yes dice and 1 no die. Does she cross the siege line successfully without any incident? Got a maybe. We really need an answer. Okay, so we'll use this maybe. We'll use this maybe. And then we'll just go no probability stack at all, either way. Does a random event occur? No. So, all right, let's go back and just figure out if she makes it without any incident. No, she doesn't. Okay, so she is trying to cross the siege line invisible. So that leads me to think that there must be something, wherever she decides to cross, there must be something there with true sight. I guess we're going to have to roll random to see what that thing was, because with true sight, this creature can see her even though she's invisible. Going back to our trusty 5e Tools website, one creature that has true sight is a Nothic. In the previous campaign, they battled a Nothic underneath Trezendar Manor. They had to kill that thing and clear it out. So there's a good chance that, there may be another one in the area. Maybe she runs into that. I don't think we should stack the probability one way or the other. It's just randomly. Does she run into a Nothic? Does a Nothic see her trying to cross? No, it's not a Nothic. Must be something else. All right, another creature. This one is really nasty. I hope this one doesn't roll up. It has true sight. An Alhoon. Again, no probability stacking. Does she, or does an Alhoon see her crossing the siege line? Oh, yes. This is the most horrible situation for her now. She's a 9th level wizard. Maybe she can hold her own, but one thing that crossed my mind I want to roll for here. With what she went through in her conversation with Jannos, what is the likelihood that Jannos is going to follow her, maybe staying a ways behind? I think there might be a chance for that. So let's do, I'd say highly likely, right? 3 yes dice versus 1 no dice. Does Jannos follow behind her and stay a ways back to watch and see what happens? Yes, he does. Okay, let's add another high probability that Jannos would bring Kosef with him. So with invisibility, they both could be invisible as well. It's highly likely that Jannos asks Kosef to go with him. Let's see if he does. Red is the no die. Yes, he asks Kosef. So it's going to be Jannos and Kosef. So that's really going to help. She doesn't know this, but it's really going to help her because that Alhoon has like 150 hit points and all kinds of magic as well. So, wow, this is getting interesting. It makes sense that she would leave through this little forested area here and move out here to cross the siege line. And since Amber, the hostage, is over here past the siege line, it just makes sense. She'd have good cover through the forest, and then she moved to the siege line there where we're having a little bit of an issue. The other guys would probably maybe follow her, staying well behind. Okay, so let's find out. I mean, she's going to look for a hole in the siege line where there's the fewest number of enemies. So let's see how many other enemy soldiers are along in the area where she's crossing. How many are in the vicinity of this Alhoon? Okay, since it's a area of the siege line that is lightly populated because she's found kind of a hole, let's do 4 plus a d4. Oh gosh. All right, there's 8 other enemies around this Alhoon. Let's do, are they all goblins? Which would be good because goblins are easy. No, we can't have a maybe now. We need a yes or a no. No, they are not all goblins. Are they half goblins? No, so there's less goblins than whatever else is with them. Well, we don't want these other creatures to be too strong because we've already got a pretty epic battle here. Are the rest, or I should say the majority of these creatures, gnolls? Okay, yes, they are gnolls. All right, so we have it laid out. Our cute little wizard here, Shreesha, is crossing the siege line. Unbeknownst to her, an Alhoon can see her even though she's invisible. And unbeknownst to her, 2 of the heroes of Phandalin are also invisible, kind of hanging back, waiting to see what's going to transpire. So now, I guess the next thing is to set up another battle space and play this thing out on the tabletop. Why the heck not?